Hey, Becky.
How you doing?
Good. That was good news out of the Amherst last night.
Yeah, they did the right vote. Now, do we have any word about Amherst or Pelham?
I don't know what Pelham's going to do. I almost sent John an email and say, "So what are you going to do, John?" 'Cause I know he knows. I'm sure he knows by now what happened. I know he was paying attention. Yeah, well, stay tuned.
Yeah.
Well, this is when he's
It
probably
was-
going to say, this is probably when he's going to say that line that you like to hear him say.
the one he didn't say this year?
Yeah, that one.
Well, Pelham, as always, will fulfill our mutual obligations.
Yes.
Oh,
It's
he's
fun.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's good. I like him.
yeah. No, he's so solid. And I understand why, they stuck to the four. It makes sense.
Well, his points are correct about, what the future is looking like and how are we preparing for it.
Yeah. No, and I like that Doug was taking him seriously and trying to, yeah.
Yeah, Doug is saying, predicting an almost 9% increase next year,
Yeah.
8.87. That's a scary thought.
Mhm. Especially on top of the six. But if it could right the ship, um, I don't know.
Well, in absence of other revenue, what choice do we have? We have two choices. Pay up or lay off.
Mm. Yep. Yep.
I don't think Peg's coming.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
Yeah, Peg's not going to be able to make it.
so I should
And
reach out to Melissa?
Yeah. I mean, we have a quorum at this point.
Yeah, you guys could
Ah,
continue on. Let
We
me try to
could.
reach
hello, Anne. It's so good to see you. I haven't seen you.
Hi, how are you guys?
I'm not getting up into the woods at the same time as you are.
The woods are beautiful right now with the sun so bright. The woods
Oh.
are like illuminated.
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
look at
last couple of days have been great.
yeah.
Or not yesterday, but the Monday, Tuesday, and then today,
Mm.
just bright and sunny.
I'm so glad town meeting day is going to be bright and sunny.
It's supposed to change as the day goes on, and it looks like a long meeting, so you're probably going to start in the sun and end in the clouds.
There's one article that would have could have taken an hour.
The stretch.
Yeah, the specialty energy code is going to have to hold to next year. It turned out were required to hold a hearing. And when Michael DeCara passed it off to the select board, that wasn't clear. But when he said that, I said, well, if we can reach to it, but it was I thought, I didn't realize it was a formal hearing. I thought it was more like when Miriam said we needed a hearing for Concom. It wasn't really required. She just used that term. But it turned out when we got all the instructions, we really needed a full publicized hearing 2 weeks ahead. And so talking about it last night didn't cover that. And that's all we had plans to do. So
Oh, okay.
if we had advertised it 2 weeks ahead, it could have worked, but
Right.
that didn't happen. So we're gonna pass over it till next year.
Well, I still think those other bylaws are going to take a lot of time.
Yeah,
And the citizens petitions.
yeah, they're meaty too.
Yeah, that second to last one is going to be a real humdinger, I think.
Oh, solar? Everybody loves to talk about solar.
Oh, they sure do. And they have lots of opinions. The funny thing is, it's at the end of the day, how many
there it
people
is.
will there be?
I know.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be a lot of,
Yeah, the solar people, it's going to keep them around.
Solar
at
people.
that point.
The smart solar people.
Yeah. Oh, I hope we can work that out.
Yeah, me too. Well,
Yeah.
you're going to have to address it. The town's going to have to talk. We're going to have to get everybody together and we're going to have to work it out as a community. Should be a barrel of laughs.
Okay, so we better get on to, I didn't get through to Melissa yet.
Okay, so I guess I'll run the meeting. I mean,
Yeah. Go for it.
okay, good. So my first thing I'm going to do is assign somebody to give the annual report on Saturday. Who's going to be there?
Not.
You're not?
No.
You gave it last year, didn't you?
I did it last year.
I think you
No,
did.
I didn't. I wasn't at town meeting last year, but
Oh, so it was
the
the year
last time I
before you
was
gave
at,
it. You were at the
yeah,
Cape last year. I
I
remember
was at the
that.
Cape, yeah.
That's right.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it was the year before you gave it. Yeah, Melissa gave it last year.
Hmm. So who else hasn't given it yet, I wonder?
Well, I haven't in a while, but I'm not going to be there.
Oh, right.
Sorry.
Ah,
I'm flying out first thing in the morning. Sorry.
Where are you going? Somewhere
New
good?
Orleans Jazz Festival.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, for the weekend. Yep, should be fun. My friend's son lives there, so we got a place to stay. And his son loves music, so it's going to be the three guys hanging out. It's going to be fun. We're going
so
to
you're
a,
gonna, yeah,
yeah, so I'm not, unfortunately, not going to be here.
so you're gonna delay
I'm a
your flight.
maybe. My husband just had hip replacement surgery, so I don't want to
Oh,
commit to.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's
I
an
know.
April knows all
old,
about it.
Yeah, I have one. I have a new one.
yeah.
It totally works.
Yeah, it does.
Totally
And it
works.
wasn't from any, traumatic fall. It's like a karate injury from his 20s that now when you're in your 60s is bone on bone. So,
Caught up to him.
So I would
yeah.
be honored to give the personnel board's report.
Okay, well,
April, we're gonna buy you cookies.
I don't need cookies. I don't need cookies.
well, so to do that,
We have to write one. Oh, I don't have time.
yeah, so why don't we put that down the agenda? Let's deal with the stuff we normally, the agenda is very lean. I don't think it's going to take long, so why don't we save that one for last?
Yeah.
That way we can kind of, what's the word, brainstorm together and see if we can all come
Yeah.
up with other
The
things.
truth is, I was thinking about it today, so I guess I knew what was coming.
Oh, good
kind
for
of.
you.
Yeah, I was sort
Wow.
of thinking, yes.
All right, well, so has everybody read the minutes that I sent out on Monday or Sunday?
Yeah. Yes.
And they seemed okay.
Yes.
All right, so I make a motion that we approve the minutes from March 21st.
And I'll second. Oh, I think Anne did, but she's.
Yeah, no, I couldn't unmute.
Yeah.
All in
Second.
favor? Arvanitis, aye.
Aye, Brigham.
Stein, aye.
Okay, excellent. The next on the agenda, Peg asked that we ask about the status of the land use clerk.
She's doing great.
So she's been hired.
No, we haven't replaced her.
So,
Is she staying?
She has been very flexible and has changed her plans a couple times. She's kind of thinking that as soon as we can get the admin secretary, because she's, I can focus in on this in May and June, but she's just been stabilizing the office with a new chair and getting things in order, and things are going good, are going well. And they needed some time to stabilize after a lot of upheaval, so it's a good.
okay, so for the minutes, you're telling me, you're saying that the search for the land use clerk is on hold
Mhm.
because the existing one is remaining, is,
It's been flexible and staying and through this transition period with a new chair for Concom.
okay. Verbatim. Thank you. But you do anticipate that it will pick up at some point. We'll have to go, we'll have to hire.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and then status of the groundskeeper.
Hired.
Oh, that's right. Oh, is that right? Okay, so person was hired. Now, we were talking about various options. In terms of a number of people and number of hours. So they found one person who can work more hours.
I believe so. I don't know if Walter's still looking for others, and he might be, but he has one very solid person who is living in town, so he feels very
Okay.
good about that.
By a town resident.
Yeah, and he's experienced in landscaping has a lot of experience, used to have his own landscaping company.
Mm,
So it's good.
That's great. Probably gonna be bored at our little cemetery.
Hopefully.
No, it looks good. I mean, I walk there a lot. It looks pretty good.
Okay, and so speaking of the administrative secretary, what's going on there?
I had one nibble, pretty solid. I was pretty hopeful, but the person has daycare issues in the summer that they're trying to figure out. So whether or not they'll be able to fully apply, I don't know yet.
So,
I
right,
would-
okay,
If you know of anybody, please send them my way. I am over my friggin' head here.
all right.
Yeah.
Wonderful to have a little support.
Yeah, it sure would, Becky. We know this.
And we
Um,
just had another huge round of PFAS testing, which is going to require 80 letters going out, which is one of the functions of the admin secretary, and I'm going to have to get them out. If we don't have somebody, I'm going to have to get them out because if we don't have somebody in a week.
How about Jeanette? Could Jeanette help?
That's a good idea. She did help in taking minutes, and I think I'm going to ask her again.
If she's willing to work the extra time, and if we have money in the budget,
We do.
And
But it's no, that one's not gonna work.
okay, well, the other thing is too, if you need somebody to do some labor there, I can come to town hall for a few hours, Becky. I can't until next week, but next week I could help if you really want. Just give me a stack of stuff and let me know what to do.
Wow.
You're awesome.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we gotta help.
Yeah.
Anyways, you let me know. I'm back on Tuesday. And then I'm going to San Francisco the week after that.
He's gonna be in a really good mood, Becky, so take
Yeah.
advantage.
I am gonna be happy, probably a little
Yes.
tired. I'm definitely gonna be tired. They're gonna
He's
be late.
singing out loud, really loud. It's gonna be
Yeah. Play some good music.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna hear a lot of music. All right, so one person applied for the administrative secretary position, working out,
Well, it's not she didn't put in the full application. I just was talking to her about it, and then she was sorting out the different, before you can fully apply, you have to know you're not abandoning your children in the street when you do it. So
yep, that's
I
important.
understand.
Yeah. Somebody called DCF and that would really screw things up.
Yeah,
So
And-
really, all we have is one person expressing interest at this point.
that's all I've had. So I'm gonna send it back out and try to get the Valley posting. It's just, this is such, we really need somebody in town because of the evening. I think with the evening meetings,
Mhm.
I think even though the minutes can be done without attending, I think it's really important to have the person at the meetings if possible.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're gonna advertise again?
Yep. After town meeting. Well, after Tuesday.
Well,
After-
everything's after town meeting at this point.
Well, I have 2 emergencies that'll take Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, okay. All right, those are the only things that Peg had brought up for this meeting. I was wondering if we could ask about the school, because I saw it on the minutes from our last meeting, the school union negotiations.
They are active. We just set up 2 or 3 additional meetings for May into June.
Meeting's going, wow, doesn't sound like fun. That's one of the things that's killing our school budgets is these salary negotiations. As teachers are,
Trying to
I
get paid.
don't,
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that they shouldn't get a pay increase at all, but clearly they are, and we can see the impact. There was a really interesting article on NPR 2 nights ago. I don't know if anybody heard it, about local schools and the funding problems, and Blaze, I forget her first name, and Joe.
Natalie?
Yeah, Natalie. Natalie
Yeah.
and Joe were both quoted in it, talking about the need for Chapter 70 adjustments, and the need for the foundation side to be stronger. I just happened to hear that just after Becky and you and I talked about this earlier in the week, and it's good to hear that the legislators talking about it. You know, there's legislators talking about it. So now's
Yeah.
the time to talk about the annual report.
Annual report.
Will be
Lovely.
presented by April Stein.
Da-da.
Great, and you'll do a
What should
great
I
job. whatever
wear?
you
We
will.
were gonna wear, a bunch of us were gonna come in formal attire. We thought that would be a nice touch for town meeting.
Well, or dressing period. I mean, when was
Oh,
the first annual
period.
town meeting? Get those outfits out from
Oh,
50.
that would be, that would, yes, we gotta have fun with this.
We did that for the 250th.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Those outfits must still be around somewhere.
I had to give them back. They came from, a costume.
Got it. got
Some
it.
theater troupe lent them to us, which was really nice.
Yeah. So
But
interesting.
that was the meeting that we were written up. I still have the articles, where Shutesbury was, cited for being the most, shoot. Oh, the most congenial town meeting the person had ever attended.
Really?
Wow.
Yes, that was a
Oh,
whole
wow.
thing.
Well, and this will become the second most congenial town meeting we're gonna have, you know?
Well, that
Things
was
are-
so,
Whatever you say, April.
Whatever I say.
'cause we went
Right.
straight from the most congenial to the most contentious about it.
Mhm.
Year or
I
two
know.
later, it was like, ah.
We
Well,
are, yeah.
you know, if the budget hearing is any, I think the budget situation is going to probably go pretty smooth given you last night.
Yeah,
Well, unless Amherst well, all we can do is vote it and see what they do.
right.
Yeah, I mean, well, I assume that when the school committee made the decision they did, that it was in concert with, conversation behind the scenes, if not even in the open with the finance committee in Amherst. No?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That was typically the way it was happening. And I know they felt, the loss of Sean Mangano as a bridge between, with Doug being so shorthanded, Sean was really the bridge between Amherst and the regional schools. So they're really feeling his loss.
Yeah, having been in both roles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the Amherst finance director.
Yeah, that's it. The role of the finance director at both places. And obviously being involved in all the finance conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean was a big loss. He was a pretty smart guy.
Yep.
Or he still is.
Yes,
Yeah.
I hope he
I-
still is.
Amherst.
I think Doug has a wonderful way of presenting, it's clear, concise, and not bogged down in a lot of emotion, but it's just, he's a good guy.
He's really good at that.
Yes.
Diplomatically, he's Mr. Matter of Fact. He
Yeah.
doesn't have any inflection in his voice. Like you said, no emotion.
No,
And he
But-
doesn't try to sell, he tells you things without making it sound like he's trying to get you to do anything.
right.
No, he's good in
It
that way.
worked. He's very good. Okay.
So
What
so
did-
April, the things that
Now, are you looking at the minutes? No,
I'm writing the minutes, but
No.
what I did was I got an email from Peg and the things that she wanted to make sure that were in the annual report.
okay.
So she wanted to mention that we hired a fire chief.
All right. Was that this
That
last
was
year?
No,
That was 2 years ago. All right, well, that's what she wanted us to say. I'm just telling you. You're right.
he's
Yeah, no-
finishing his second year.
Yeah, I know. We've done how many times?
We
have
hired
talked to
him wicked well. We
I
did
think if we talk about it, they're gonna think we hired somebody else.
Yeah,
Did-
right. No, and
Is
actually,
that
she did.
we did the highway superintendent.
Yes, that's right.
That
And
was,
she did say that in here. I'm sorry. She said, or was that last year? She wasn't sure.
Okay.
So
Oh,
she wanted me
okay.
to check. No, you're right. That was my bad.
okay.
All right.
So we
Yep.
did
So we
that.
hired a highway superintendent. Contract negotiations with the highway and the police. Is that true?
No, we
No.
don't
Highway
We
police.
negotiate with highway. Only the police have a union.
And didn't the select board do the contract with the
Yeah.
highway?
Yeah, we should stay away from that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we didn't do that. Okay. So,
No, did they do the?
You know, I
I
meant to
remember-
look at our minutes and I didn't. I'm
Are
sorry.
they all online somewhere?
No, I
Uh,
think there was a representation from 3 boards, wasn't there? And then the select boards signed the contract with the highway superintendent. I mean, they always have to sign the contracts, but
I
I
wasn't
think
involved in that.
we
Harriet.
had
Was
we had
anybody?
regular negotiations.
I was part of the hiring committee for that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
see, it wasn't the
Right.
select board. It was it was
But-
done correctly.
But I don't remember if we negotiated his contract. I mean, we did a
No,
really
I
thorough-
think the select board ended up negotiating the salary, but the hiring, I mean, he accepted the job and then then I worked through and the select board worked through the salary
Yeah,
portion.
yeah,
It was very straightforward though.
yes.
All right.
Though yeah, it's too bad that it's not more, I understand this is what the select board's doing now, but
No,
I liked having representatives maybe there wasn't time.
Well,
no, it was just because the representatives had done, they did all the work to bring the person on, and sometimes, oftentimes the salary piece.
Yeah.
Was not negotiated in that meeting, and I can't swear to you,
No,
I know. Yeah, I can't tell you what meeting that was in.
okay,
well, I do know, I think now's the right time to say this is, I brought it up in one of our meetings with Melissa. After the select board has done its contract negotiations, the personnel board would like to talk to her or even the select board about that process. And is that really the right thing to do?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We had brought that up, but that's probably not something to present at the town meeting, but
No, yeah.
we
Yeah.
are, the select board is certainly within their right. But I feel like having somebody from personnel, FinCom and select board negotiate the contract.
Yes, I think that's important. And so, please tell us why it's not. And-
Yeah.
Yeah. See how they react. They're pretty reasonable board.
They are very reasonable. Yes.
So the other thing I added here, April,
Yeah.
we did a salary study resulting in adjustments to 2 positions.
Yeah, we're using the formula that was developed 3
Well-
years. Oh, there's two, it's sort
Oh,
of,
No, that's COLA. I'm talking about the.
That's right.
yeah.
it's sort of a parallel process. Is the salary corrections. We're still working on that project.
Well, we did a alignment study, although I wouldn't necessarily call it that. You can if you like, but I'd give it lay terms so that the town folk understand. We did a salary study, a market analysis, even you might want to call it, and we determined that 2 positions were, needed to be adjusted to market.
the assessor's clerk and
Who's the
the
other one?
treasurer.
Oh,
The
boy.
treasurer, that's right.
Yeah, and treasurer, right. And we didn't even bring them up to market. We just brought them closer to market.
Yes.
50%, I think, only halfway this time.
And we're
Right. But
still using the rolling average COLA with guardrails.
yes,
And we're coming up on the next round. We are going to re-examine, is that really working? Because we want to be able to, we don't want to lose ground with our salaries.
yeah, and we don't have to find out every 3 years when we do an analysis that we're behind and we have to adjust everybody.
Yep.
Did you see that Leverett is giving 4% increases?
Wow.
That was in the paper because their annual town meeting is also Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought too.
Huh.
And that doesn't make us look good, but yeah. Well, maybe one of the analysis we should do is go back to the analysis we did and see how we compare to Leverett in every position.
They've made serious increases to their police and to their highway departments, so I guess
Hmm.
it would make sense that other people in town should catch up a little bit too.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're still working on the job classification. I feel terrible about, I feel like I've just dropped it, and I promise I will get back. We're so close to being done. I feel like my return to work has taken more than I had expected, is the truth. And life, the other part of
Well, yeah,
life, ay caramba.
life
But
for retired people.
it's hard. It's hard to be, it's the semi-retired. I find I've got 2 days a week that aren't mine anymore. And it's it's more, and then there's all the other stuff that still has to get done, which I don't even know what I do. No, that's not true. No, that's
I got another one
relatives.
for you, by the way.
You've got a what?
I got another thing for the, and I don't know if
good.
everybody agrees. Where am I? I was just looking back at minutes, and I was looking at our February minutes, and we replaced the recycling coordinator.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, George, because I was looking at them too. Do we also I'm sort of confused about what the personnel committee claims, but what about the highway department?
No, we
well,
did do that.
we did
Those
say
hirings happened,
during
right?
this year.
They're
And
what?
didn't,
That was the first topic, the highway superintendent.
No, this was two part-time.
that's right.
Oh, that's true. Well, yeah, those were replacement of positions, right?
This is December. The department hired two part-time as needed employees for plowing.
Oh, you're farther back than I am. All right.
Well, the
Very
good thing is, and one of them is really panning out to become a full-time employee. He's
Oh, wonderful.
he's close to completing his CDL,
Hmm.
has the other, so it's great. They've had 3 guys on instead of 2 for about a month now.
And is this the person who had been an intern when he was in high school? Oh, that's fat. Are we going to be,
He did the internship out of when he was at Tech last
Okay.
summer.
Okay.
With Shutesbury, and yeah, it worked out very well, and he lives in Leverett, so he's close.
Oh, that's
Wow.
great.
Yeah, even bad weather. That's great.
Accessories, highway?
So I think the focus that the personnel board should have is more on like what job descriptions did you review? Because you don't do the hiring.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you make
true.
recommendations or you work on committees, hiring committees, but you there's never a time when you actually do any hiring.
So November 16th, it was the job description for the highway superintendent, which included the tree warden.
Yeah,
Right.
And then the job description, we did also look at the one for the recycling coordinator.
yep. And he's working out really well.
Yeah, I saw his first
Yeah.
email about the truck broke down. It's like, oh.
Well, in the long run, that'll be easy for him because all he has to do is cut and paste this text.
know.
It only happens once every 3 months. I think
It happened once a week for about 3
Yeah.
months.
I
it feels
know.
that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's
It's getting
huge.
awful. I can't, we haven't had this happen since we used to sew trucking. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Well, knock on wood, but April, I feel like Montague Road gets picked up every time. And then
Yes.
it's like,
Oh, you
my
guys are
trash is
you're picked
gone.
up first thing in the morning,
We're
huh?
really, we are really special.
All right,
we
so
should-
I'm not putting this stuff in the minutes.
No, I'm jotting down notes.
good. Okay.
Okay.
Recycling coordinator, highway superintendent,
Including tree
groundskeeper.
warden.
We folded that in. Recycling coordinator, groundskeeper.
That job description was redone.
Yeah.
And I think Walter has made further additions since we saw it. Should probably ask him to give us a
Let
final.
us know what he's
Yeah, have the
telling us.
one, the official one on record.
Yeah, because
That
it,
man, yeah,
it needs to be approved by the select board too, so.
yeah. I'm trying to think what
How far
else.
back? Should we go back to last May? Is that what's
No, July 1st.
July, yeah,
July? Okay.
the
oh, that's
fiscal year.
Unless there's something really good in May.
I've, yeah, so I've looked through September's, and I saw the same thing
Okay.
you, Ann. I'm looking at July's now.
Yeah, July's pretty light.
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah, I'd say so.
It seems like our main work is still around, the making sure our municipal employees are being paid at a rate
Mhm,
that's comparable to the rest of Franklin County.
mhm.
That's something that this board really values.
We did decide that we would do another analysis next year.
Yep.
Mhm.
So, I'll do that in January, February when it comes out. I can
And Leverett is already throwing that off for us.
maybe, if you want, I can pull it up real quick and just tell you how we compare to them in most categories.
I think police and highway were slipping behind.
All right.
Probably
Do you think
fire
that's new,
too.
Becky? Do you think we were pretty comparable before they did the increase?
I think they've done more than one increase.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you go back like every 5 years or so, it's usually we usually come close and then one or the other is
Mhm.
more aggressive and then we try to realign. But,
And we have been in competition with them because I know when we hired a highway chief 10 years ago, when we hired Tim, it was an issue.
Yeah.
We had to outbid
they've
them
worked here
basically.
over 20 years.
Oh.
What did you say, George?
When we hired Tim Hunting, weren't we in a bidding war for him?
No. No, not when we hired him, but they tried to hire him out from under us about 7 years ago,
Oh, and then we gave him a bump.
and we gave him a small bump and kept.
Right, right. So they pay their fire chief better than we pay ours. They pay,
Yeah.
But they're like 75,000.
yeah, let me roll up here.
They just moved to full-time.
Yeah, they're 76,000, we're 52.
There's a very big difference in experience, not experience, but yeah.
The experience. I mean,
I think he's got experience in with the Amherst Fire Department, and he's works with the UMass students and brings in trainees from UMass as firefighters. So they have very few local people on their fire department.
Hmm.
I understand.
so, they're outsourcing to Franklin County for the accountant, so that doesn't really count. Their admin secretary is paid less than ours. Assessor's clerk, I don't know what's going on there. We don't have information. I have to dig deeper.
They have RRG, so the clerk position was part of the assessment by RRG, so it should be. They have a clerk and they had a clerk and a head assessor, like David Burgess has been working over there
Okay.
through RRG. So are their numbers high?
I don't have one, so I might not have taken it because they said contracted or something. I have to look back to the survey we got from from FERCog to know what was really going on. I'm just looking at my spreadsheet where I accumulated all this data. Assistant town clerk, I don't have anything for Leverett. Their collector is a lot higher than ours, $36 versus $28.50.
True.
The
And this
collect-
is, wow.
Oh, Ryan's their collector.
Ryan,
Yeah.
the town of Leverett?
Or is
Our
he just-
Ryan?
Yes. Well, he's their treasurer. And they
Oh.
forced him to be the collector. And I think if you put those two together,
Yeah, because their treasurer is $5 an hour less than ours.
Oh, interesting.
Isn't that funny that I got two different rates for the collector and the treasurer when he's doing both? I'm gonna have to look into that.
maybe
Yeah,
he
so
only did it temporary and they hired somebody. I don't know. Because
Oh,
when
you
they
know what it
originally
is?
hired him, they were like, you have to do collections too.
No, you know what it is? The salary is this is a little higher than ours, but the number of hours worked per week is lower than ours by 2. And so the hourly rate gets kind of morphed if gets a little warped.
It goes higher.
Yeah, so that's probably not a fair comparison then to say that they're way overpaying their collector than ours. Because it's not that significant. Their custodian is pretty much the same as ours. Their equipment operators are about not quite $2 more than ours, but I think ours are going to change, right?
Yes. Well, they did yes.
I think it happened before the survey was done, or during the time
Right.
the
We
survey
just
was
got it
conducted.
done in the middle of the year, around January.
So that means ours are probably a lot closer than they were.
Yeah.
And then their librarian is ahead of ours by almost $2. Police
Whoa.
officers
By how much, George?
$2 per hour. I'm looking at per hours. I've converted
How
them.
many hours though?
Yeah, and how many hours and what's the salary?
Because ours is
Librarian.
full time and the Leverett is not.
That's right. That's right. They're 100% right. Yeah, so a lot of these numbers, I'm just looking, I'm just doing this real quick, quick and dirty, if you will. And so yeah, I mean, if we want to do a real analysis, we need to pull the cover off these things. And Becky, you obviously can see, the intangibles here. Police 2240 versus 2291, and that is an hourly rate. There's no salary or hours things going on with that.
I was told they were now getting 27.
Well, you're looking at FY 24, and if they're giving a 4% raise, that's gonna
Yes,
really bump it up.
the gap is going to get larger because of our 3.3.
And,
Yes,
and the irony is that in fact, the municipal employee salaries are not huge.
So
You know, that's not a huge, these increases, making increases in wages for our employees is not a huge slice of the budget. It's relatively small. We've got, the other places that take more.
Mhm.
And without our municipal employees, we'd be screwed.
Mhm.
yep.
So the police negotiations basically are over. I'm waiting to get a final copy of the agreed to contract from the union. But there will be a significant increase in in FY 25.
Okay, that's good. And the other one we didn't talk about was the town clerk. Their town clerk, salary wise, is getting paid $3,000 less than ours, 3,300, but also works fewer hours. 25 in Shutesbury, 16 in Leverett. So the hourly rate tips towards Leverett. So again, smoke
But I
and
think
mirrors
the
what's
problem in that position as well, because she came on board to potentially be our land use secretary, but it only lasted a week or two. She does the whole newsletter that she does is not part of what she gets paid for.
okay.
She's a long-term employee and she does a lot of additional work. We are working hard to try to pay our people for all their time.
Yes, we should.
Mm.
But I
All
think
right.
that's
Well,
part of the difference there.
okay. So those are the positions I have where there's, a comparison between Shutesbury and Leverett.
Okay, so it sounds like basically, we were very involved in the hiring, at the hiring committee for the highway superintendent and updating that in that job description, as well as the recycling coordinator, groundskeeper, upgrading those positions. What about the assistant town clerk? That was this year too.
But I think we did the prep for it the year before.
Yeah, it wasn't in the
Probably.
minutes. Yeah, it must have been
Yeah.
the year before.
It went on forever.
Well, and we had the job description. It had, Grace was the assistant town clerk 5 years ago, so it hadn't been that long.
That's
And-
right.
And we didn't make a lot of changes to it.
And thank God we got that.
It's
That we're
such a
continuing.
help for Grace's office.
Yeah. Say that again?
It's been a tremendous help for Grace's office.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how, just how much work the town clerk has had these last years.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's
no, I'm
huge.
glad we were able to help her a little. Which brings me to a point that I'm gonna bring up before the end of the meeting. I'm glad you brought her up because I talked to her Monday and I actually ended up getting a project from her. But I'll tell you about that in a second. It's not my project, it's our project. But
Okay, put that on hold.
I'll put that on hold because is there anything else then? I mean, Anne, you looked through the minutes, I looked through most of the minutes.
I didn't see anything, George.
Yeah,
And so the other part is the ongoing job salary study and comparing our salaries, wages and salaries with the rest of Franklin County. So
and some other and some other towns in the
That-
area, but
that's right,
whatever.
of comparable size.
Yes,
We're trying to do comparable sizes.
because Petersham was on there, and I think Williamsburg and Whately. No, not Whately. I forget the other one.
No, what's it? There was another one.
Well,
Ashfield. Ashfield usually
That's
Um,
right.
is a good comparison to Shutesbury. They have more commercial base, but
yeah, their downtown has more stuff going on than ours, but yes, that's true.
But through our studies this year, the assessor's clerk, treasurer, and
Oh, Petersham
that-
and Plainfield.
right, and the highway part-time, the new highway employees, not, what do we call them? Highway
Equipment operators.
equipment operators. Yes. Okay. And job descriptions we've done.
And we have a new member.
We have a new member.
Remember.
We have fresh blood.
That's-
No, it's wonderful because, we're
It's
we're
nice to
handing
see
off
new,
the baton.
it's nice to see new faces on boards and committees. People are getting tired of looking at the same old people.
We're getting older.
Those crazy bald heads who, been doing the same thing year over year.
You used to have hair, didn't you, when I first met you? Did you
Yeah,
ever
I
have
had
hair?
hair when I was first on, finance committee and wherever else I was. Yes, that's true. I also had.
Don't put that in the advertisement to get people.
Well, they once had
When I
hair.
started on this board, I had a full head of hair.
Yeah, you want to lose your hair? Join a committee.
That's right. And the gray has come year after year after
That
year.
too, right. All right, so you got a report.
Yeah.
Thank
Short
you,
and sweet.
April.
It'll be fun. I'll wear my formal gown.
Nice. I wish I was there to see it. So,
I'll take a picture if she does, George.
all right, that sounds
God.
great.
That
So
would be
future
so bizarre.
business.
Yes. What?
I have, I think I was talking to Lenny about it and, the police have like this 700 or 800 page manual and now they have the post system. They've got regulations dictating everything they do. The fire department, we don't have so much. We don't have anything in place really as far as hiring process, and the town has a hiring process. But I think because I'd like to spend a little, I'm hopeful the personnel board would look into how other towns hire their, police and fire. I mean, just the fire, because I think the regs are very solid, for police. Just because it's more involved with background checks, it's involved in, public safety is, you usually a little more intense than when you're just hiring a new land use clerk. You don't really go into their backgrounds deeply. But the land use clerk typically is not going into people's homes and saving lives. So I think, anyway, so I was wondering if maybe that could be a thing for the personnel board to look into is hiring policies for fire departments. And whether our manual, look at our personnel handbook and see if that is sufficient or if we need to be doing more than we are in support of our fire department.
So,
It's yeah. So that means that, how you're talking about our call firemen.
Well, everybody in the department, right?
Everybody,
Well, the
yes.
fire chief, he went through a regular hiring process, and like our public safety people, had a detailed background check done on him. Just like the police chief did. Those
The
are
fire- Yeah,
typically the only two that have that, but when we do hire, fire and police officers, background checks are done.
okay.
No.
That's really important. I mean,
I
you
would
hear
think that that would
stories.
be mandated by the state.
Well, they are for police, but they aren't for fire. I mean,
That's so
and
strange.
it might be that it might be that we don't, we need to learn more and do more about the fire department, because
Yeah.
Lenny did not inherit any policies that go any further than town employees. So that's what he's working with naturally. And he is getting the background checks done, but I think it would be a good thing for us to do some research on and see if we should be updating our policy there.
So Becky, I'll put it under future business, and when I send these minutes to Peg, I'll include a little note that says you brought this up, and maybe Peg can decide to even make this, and I'll suggest to her that we make it an agenda item for our next meeting.
Okay. I apologize. Can I take a quick call?
Sure.
And so George, you sounds like you were talking to our town clerk about
Yeah, and I was
something.
hoping, I'm hoping Becky would be in here, but I'll tell you what it is. Wait, I'm just gonna write this down.
Okay.
Next meeting agenda. I just want to get this down so I don't forget. Yeah, so I was reappointed to the finance committee, and so I had to go by and be sworn in again, and she handed me this folder of reading materials.
Oh, I've read every page.
I've had
Right, right. This is you've all had them. It's
Mhm.
fragrance-free guidelines, recommendations for emails for governor work. You all know about that. Conflict of interest, open meeting laws, and sexual harassment. And she handed me the sexual harassment. I just gotta shuffle here so I don't forget something. She handed me the sexual harassment thing and said, you guys really ought to think about getting this. This is typed up from 20 years ago, and I just handed it to everybody. It looks really crappy. So I took it upon myself and I made a Word document out of it. I'm gonna send it to her and say, here you go, here's a Word document, do with it what you like. Didn't take me that long. I listened to the news while I'm doing it, but I was reading it. I'm wondering if it's something that maybe I should send to everybody and we as a committee can read it and think
Yeah.
about, is it up to date? It was dated April 15th, 1997. You just had a birthday, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
April
Yes.
20th, that's
April,
right.
yes. I decided to go to the Fort Town meeting for that. That was, I did. It's a crazy
Yeah.
birthday. Yeah, I did.
Sorry, I digress.
That's okay.
So April 15th, 1997, but then amended June 2000. So this thing is 24 years old.
Wow.
up to date.
Yeah, so I'm thinking we might want to go online and do a little reading what the state's current mandates are, or whatever, another item that I think we should review. So I'll send a copy. I'll send a copy of it, I think, to everybody, and before the next meeting, and just I'll suggest it to Peg as well as something we should talk about. I'll put it on the future agenda. So that's all. I'm going to surprise Grace by sending it to her, say, here it is, but the personnel board is going to review it. If you have any concerns or anything you think we need to focus on it, please let me know. There was,
Yeah. Well, I was just wondering, are there other documents that are handed out that she's seeing are like outdated?
I could ask her that question as well.
Mhm.
I mean, really personnel board related documents, right?
Right. No, like racism, inclusion.
Yeah,
know.
I don't know if there's something about that in there. I'm not going to read them. I mean,
I know.
I've read them all before, and I do have to do. I got a notice that I have to do a conflict of interest
Oh,
training by the end of the year.
the webinar,
Yeah, I'm not sure what it
Yeah.
is, but yeah.
yeah, takes a while.
So Becky, I was just telling everybody, Grace handed me a whole stack of documents for my reappointment to the Finance Committee, including the sexual harassment policy. And she made a comment about, this is a typed piece of paper that's 24 years old.
And this is what's so frustrating, because part of the manual, we, we got a new sexual harassment policy. We have it available, I think the select board, but it hasn't, because the manual hasn't been pulled together. All our policies are just sitting there, and we've got to push them forward. This is ridiculous.
Oh,
The manual has to get done, and all the attachments that I've been collecting, some of them for 5 years, 6 years are just sitting there, and Grace is handing out crap.
You're talking about the manual, the personnel handbook?
Yes, because there's in the back, we've been collecting and approving all these, things that go with the manual, but it's all those policies, the the women's rights around pregnancy, and nursing in the office, and getting, there's all kinds of stuff
Yeah,
that,
because laws have changed.
right, but we have it all. We need to get it out to the employees this year. So I'm gonna push it, Melissa, and just say, wherever the manual's at, where we need to,
We need the select board to
I
get it.
need what, yeah, I
Yeah,
want
let's-
to go to, if she can please just send it to everybody, or send it to me, and we gotta get done and get the updated stuff out.
So where's the
So-
personnel? Where's the personnel board in all this? I mean, are we waiting? Are we just gonna accept what they do, or do we also have to vet it?
It's been approved by earlier personnel boards. I mean, all the
Okay.
policies went forward to the select board, like 6 years ago.
And then,
wait,
Yeah,
sorry,
I
Becky,
think we should
let me
do
just
it
make
again.
sure I'm understanding correctly. So the personnel handbook has been in the works for several years.
Yes,
And so it could be that some of the things that you put forth might now be outdated.
well,
You've
they,
been gathering them for like 6 years, so
yes, but the stuff that's in the old manual and in Grace's
it's even
office
worse.
is 30 years old.
Okay,
So, and the stuff, I don't believe, most of the state stuff and those regs are not out, they haven't been updated yet. I mean, they're not outdated. We just need to get them in circulation. They need to be in all the department heads' master book. They need to be available, and the crap Grace is handing out needs to be updated.
yes,
so let me ask you this, Becky, if we could fast track that, right, and get it approved, is there anything that would prevent us from then still taking another look at what's approved and saying, hey, this has been updated, right? I mean, we could still, like, if we got the personal handbook approved, right, this committee
I-
could then go ahead and
approvals
look
don't
at some of the
matter right now.
policies just to
No,
see.
you don't have to worry about approvals right now. I think we need to review where we're at with the
Oh, review
personnel
it, okay.
handbook. And the personnel board needs to decide if it's ready. I
I
think
see. I got it.
the personnel board is in charge of the updates to the manual, unless there's things that of significant, regular updates,
Mhm.
like replacing the old sexual harassment with a new one. The personnel board can do that. They can, once the select board has approved the policy, they can do that. And I think a number of these were approved by the select board. But if we don't remember, we'll just take them all back and get them all approved again, and then get them in circulation.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
so in the context of this conversation about the sexual harassment, you're saying that there is a new sexual harassment policy. It's documented in that handbook. And it's different, materially different from what we have right here?
Oh, yeah.
Well, then I'm not gonna send anything to Grace, and let's just try and get this pushed along.
So then what's the next step?
And we can send to Grace the updated items.
Yeah, that's what
next
she needs to
step
get,
is-
not a new version of this.
Mm-mm.
Cause she said, this is typed, and I said, well, that's fine. I took it and I said, well, I'll just type it up on a Word document, give her the Word document. But then she could just print out a nice, because she said, this looks crappy when I reproduce it. But that's not even the issue you're saying.
No,
either,
it's
so
not
there's
the
no
issue.
point.
That's
Yeah,
outdated, it's garbage and needs to be
okay.
replaced.
Okay, that's why I said what I said. Yeah, okay.
So, I'll pull, Melissa kind of, I don't have any copies of what she's done. I
Mm,
haven't seen anything. So it could be all done. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I'll talk to her and then try to get, and then I'll bring all the copies of the different policies. Let's try to do that for the next meeting or in May. And if I
Yeah.
can, if I'm not too buried, but if I am, then, we just got to keep on it.
Mhm.
yeah,
So that in the hiring practices for the fire department and police department are really two items that need to be at the top of future business.
Mhm.
and then at sort of toward later on is making sure we look at our COLA formula. Is that working? And I'm thinking it's probably not giving, I think we're getting behind, but we'll find out.
I think you're right, and I think we have to be careful how we transition because
Mm.
we were lagging with inflation, and so because we do a 3-year rolling, we still got high inflation in our calculation, whereas everybody might have been giving the current year's inflation, we were a little behind. But now
Mhm.
we're peaked and that average is gonna stay higher, and I would have thought we'd be higher than the other towns. So, yeah, I think we gotta be really careful with how we do that.
I
Yeah,
think the 4% guardrails is what kept us from being higher.
yeah,
Because it knocked out, what was it, 6.5 or 7?
Oh, yeah, yes, one of them was at least 6, I think 2 of them were guardrailed. Would have both,
So-
2 years would have been higher than 4%.
Yeah.
Back to back. Now, we had 1 year that was below 1%.
Yeah.
We gave one, but somehow that just doesn't seem to cut it.
no, no,
Yeah, to me, it's gotta be indexed for inflation, otherwise we're always gonna have those, those conversations that we are happy we don't have anymore, where
Mm.
we got everybody in a room and half the room wants to give increases and half doesn't. And this way we had something solid to hook our wagon to. But I think a rolling average is probably not the right way to go. It's just gotta be
I don't
annual.
think it's working. But,
And
and
we might be doing better than you think. We should really look at
Well,
what
we'll do it again
the
next year.
practice is
Yeah.
and how they're addressing it. Because they seem to be they seem to be responding to the squeaky wheel. And I'm not certain if it's across the board that their wages are keeping up. If it is, then I'm wrong.
yeah, and we're trying to avoid that.
Well, we
No.
saw in our analysis that, we were competitive in many positions. There were a handful, we found 2 that were way below, and there was a handful that were below for sure. And, compared to Leverett, it looks like the gap's gonna get bigger. But compared to everybody else, we'll just have to see next year.
Yeah.
That analysis usually comes out in January, right?
Yep.
So February, we should be able to talk about this more, and
Yep.
hopefully in time for the budget, if we do make adjustments.
All right,
I think that's everything.
that sounds good.
Oh, June 20th, would that be our June meeting? We didn't have that in the minutes. I thought I'd add that.
What in May is it?
16.
These are like target dates.
Yes, yes, they are.
That's
Oh, I got
fine.
it. 16. So the 20th of June is, yeah.
Yeah, 20th of June is a Thursday. Yep. Yeah, first day of summer, or I don't know yet. So I'll put those down in the minutes. So May 16th, is our next one. I can make that, so right now it looks like, so. If somebody else
Take a
can.
week not to travel?
It's crazy. I'm like flying 3 times in the next 3 months. And I haven't flown since, well, Alex, my youngest, is getting married in July, San
Okay, great.
Francisco. So
Oh, that's so nice.
yeah, we're pretty excited. We really like his partners. We think she's great.
No, but they have to move east.
Never gonna happen. When he moved to San Francisco, I looked him in the eye and I said, "You're gonna meet a San Francisco girl. You're gonna get married in San Francisco, and you're never gonna live here again." Called me up one day and said, "Dad, remember that conversation we had?"
Oh, that's so sweet.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. She's great. She's an ER doctor.
Wow.
He's
Yeah,
marrying
she's-
a doctor. That's a
She's
good
a
thing.
high, she's high energy. They traveled, they were just in the Caribbean sailing for 10 days.
Good for them.
Yeah, she's a sailor. She's part of the yacht club in San Francisco.
Does she need a crew? Does she ever need crew? Has she
Oh,
got a
yeah, no
boat?
kidding. She's getting one in a couple weeks.
But
They asked us, Marty, George, do you guys want to come on the sailboat? Sure. It's not her sailboat because she's a member of a yacht club. She has access to sailboats. So they sail around the bay a lot. So
very cool.
yeah, kind of fun. And we're looking forward to that. So that's my travel. After that, I'm home. I'm grounded. Things are good. Well, I wish you good luck on annual town meeting.
I think it will go well.
It'll go well. You
I think it'll
guys,
be
everybody
fine.
runs a good show.
And I hope your husband heals well. you
Oh,
know.
thank you.
Yes.
He's progressing as,
I-
progressing well.
I don't know him well, but he just seems like when I've met him on the street, he's a good guy, and
Yeah, he's a nice
yeah.
guy.
yeah, you did good.
If
Anyway,
he's Ann's
Excited
husband, he's
about his
gotta be
hip, as I'm
okay.
sure you were, April, when you got yours, right? It's like, really does bring mobility.
oh, immediately, absolutely,
Yeah.
that pain went away.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, good for you guys. That's
All right.
great. Okay.
Okay, thanks,
Hasta
everybody.
luego.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye.
you, everybody.
Yep.
Good night. April,
Yes.
let me just.